welcome to the Voice TV. I am Binta Jete. Today we are joined by Honorable Samba Jallow, National Assembly member for Nyamina Dampuku constituency under the National Reconciliation Party. He also served as minority leader from 2012 to 2022 under the former regime. Honorable, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much, Binta. Let me first of all thank the management of the Voice newspaper and Voice TV. My name is Honorable Samba Jallow, member for Nyamina Dankunku, and I'm a third timer in Parliament. I'm serving my third term in Parliament. Actually, I did serve from 2012 as the minority leader. Those 5 years was in Jammeh's time. That was during the APRC days. That is the fourth legislature. Also, I served when the coalition government came in 2017. I served as a minority leader from 2017 to 2022. Thank you.
Being a minority leader from 2012 to 2022, can you tell the experience you had and also the challenges you had?
Yeah, thank you so much, Binta. It's a very important question. It was more challenging as a minority leader from 2012 to 2017, knowing at that time the type of regime we have this in this country. Then Jammeh was the president. APRC was, as a party, we are ruling the country, and we all know how rigid the system was, and then it was really challenging because in 2012 when I came in, because of our standing orders, you must come from a political party, the largest political party, be the majority leader, then the second largest be the minority leader. Fortunately, in 2012, I was the only person that won through a political party, that is the National Reconciliation Party. I think with 4, if my memory serves me right, with 4 independent candidates, that is Nyani constituency, Basse constituency, Lower Fuladu constituency, and Kombo Central then Brikama was not actually divided in 2 constituencies, Kombo Central. So meaning it was very challenging as a minority leader when you are in government, you are a watchdog to a government that is so rigid, and you don't have the required number, because out of the 53 at that time, it was only 5 of us. So meaning it is only when the majority wish they listen to our voices. Without that, we don't have the number of votes to compete the majority side in those days. As it happened, with this 5th legislature, you can see the minority side. Almost, if you count the turnout of the UDP, who came in with 15, but now minus because one have defected 14, plus the 5 non-alliance member, then plus the 2 from Doi, plus the other independent candidate. If you add them, almost the majority and the minority, there is a form of a balance. So they must work in unison at least to achieve something. But during my time with the 4th legislature, this was not possible, because we can only make sure that, okay, our voices, the voices of the people are heard, but actually we don't have the number to convince or to force the then majority to do what they want. We can see just recently a constitution, the 2024 promulgation bill. You can see it was rejected, but because of that significant number of the minority, we wanted it to pass, but when the minority is not happy about it, they rejected it. It couldn't pass. So the most challenging time in my as a minority leader actually is in 2012 toward 2017 because of what I explained. Then from 2017, it was not. It was a little bit different because we came in as a coalition government. But again, the reason why I was qualified again in that fifth legislature to be the minority leader is still dictated by the standing order in parliament, because that the standing order, we are in coalition, but actually when it comes to parliamentary election, we contested as parties, not in a coalition group. So then I was, despite the fact we were at the beginning, we were all with the coalition government, even the UDP, but I was able to contest for the minority and then won. Then the majority came from the UDP. So it was not so challenging with the fourth legislature. Actually, no, with the fifth legislature, because of we went to election as a coalition government when the president win as an independent candidate. We all went to to parliamentary election with the idea NRP is contesting as a party, UDP is contesting as a party, but the idea is actually we all have the same agenda to support. So it was not actually very challenging, unless until when the division happened within the UDP and then the president. Then we are a little bit divided. But even in that process, it was not so intense like it happened from 2012 to 2017. There was not much challenging with the fourth legislature, because if you know the responsibility of minority leader, that is parties, opposition parties in government, is to perform that oversight, that oversight function on the executive. But when you are almost there within the same idea in 2014, it was not challenging. And then the other responsibility also is for you to be as a watchdog, as an opposition, to a government, to a ruling government. Actually, you serve as a watchdog. Whatever they wanna do, which is wrong, even where you cannot deter them from doing it, but you must talk about it. Then the people will know. Anyway, they are down there in parliament. They cannot do anything because they don't have the number, but they have informed us this is what the executive want to do, which is not actually correct, so on and so forth.
How were you able to survive during that time as a minority?
Sometimes you just have to be a little bit wise when you are taking some responsibility. You have to use your mind and you have to put in management. So sometimes it was really difficult, but I just have to build that cordial relationship, knowing I don't have the number. And if I should be so aggressive like that, I might not even convince them on certain things. But when I knew I don't have the strength, I don't have the number, the only thing I resulted is to have that cordial relationship with the majority side. And then that thing helped me, because even situation where they feel something is about to happen and they cannot talk about it, they can come to me, Honorable, this thing is coming to happen. But as government MPs, it will be difficult. So they can even give you information. And then this is how I survive. I have that cordial relationship with each of them, even the current speaker. You ask him, he will tell you. I build that cordial relationship where if I see something that is about to happen and then I feel it's not good, and then I know I don't have the vote to influence to influence their decision, then I can now do that form of management and build a good relationship with them, so that I can get into their office, talk to them. So majority, can you reconsider this issue that you are about to bring in Parliament, so that I can achieve what I want, because at that time, you know, to be so rigid was not my solution, but to be a little bit lenient, build that relationship with them. I felt that is the only direction that I can use, and then survive the system, and then also want to achieve what I want to achieve from them.
Criticized Jammeh's government on several issues to the extent of tabling no confidence motion against Jammeh, which deals with mental or physical incapacity of the president. What motivated you to urge the parliament to consider that motion?
Actually, I did not table the motion, but then I raised the issue of vote of no confidence. But because there are certain things, a vote of no confidence is guided by a process from the 1997 Constitution. At that time, abuse of office is part of it. Violation of the Constitution is part of it. When the president willfully, they said willfully meaning I might not interpret it in legal way, but to my understanding, if you say willfully, you do it for the first time and do it for the second time. But as I told you earlier, when I was just a single voice, the only thing I can do at that material time in those days was to stand at the floor of the house and talk about it, whether I will succeed or not succeed. But the people I represent, as I mentioned earlier, as a watchdog to government. So it is my responsibility, to make it out there for the people to know about it.
What was the outcome after raising the motion?
Well, you see, nothing comes from it, because as I mentioned earlier, the number actually was not there. We are only four. I can say we are five. Did I mention Basse constituency? I think Basse constituency also okay. Yeah, honorable magazine in those days. I believe we were five, not four. Basse constituency also was part of it. So this was why in my introduction I say, okay, I was not voiceless because it's my responsibility to voice it out as a majority minority leader. But actually, the influence, even when you have the purpose and you want to do it, you can only talk about it, because bringing a motion of impeachment, you still now need a vote. A vote Parliament must accept. I think two-thirds of the vote they must accept. So it was not something that was initiated, but I have talked about it. Try to convince my colleagues. Why not? Because of this and that and that and that. We impeached the president. But, I couldn't achieve it because of I don't have the number to carry on, to continue with the motion.
As a National Assembly member, how do you see the economy of the Gambia? What do you think the government should do?
You talking currently?
Yeah.
Well, government is in other way. They are playing an important role, but I think when everybody is talking about expensive goods and services, these are the people that are shocked by the economy. And if I sit on TV, I tell the economic situation in the country is going perfect, while people, I think maybe 50 to 55% of the population are complaining price of basic commodity is high. Then I might not be fair. But then I know government also, when it comes to price of basic commodity like rice and other things where government is paying a lot of money to subsidize rice and other food. The issue is that might not be the solution. We need to work on our economy very seriously. I think what government should try and do now is to improve the livelihood of the citizen by trying to put better fiscal policies or monetary policies to make sure that actually the people of the country are not affected seriously because of economic shocks. A lot of things we need to do about our economy. We have seen a lot of infrastructural development is being put in place. Other people are arguing that might not be the solution. But again, infrastructure is very important in nowadays because if you want to improve your economy through agriculture, you must have the infrastructure in place. If you want to improve your economy through digitalizing the economy, you definitely need the infrastructure. I believe with the current infrastructural development we are doing, we will get the shock now, but in the near future, when it is stable, we will definitely enjoy some economic gain.
Can you share us with the achievements that you made in your document since you were elected?
Well, it might be, we will now put that into context by 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 associating it with my responsibility as a National Assembly member. You have some responsibility, and then these responsibilities are put into three categories. That is the issue of oversight function, then the issue of legislature, and the issue of representation. When you talk about oversight function, that is the committee that we have in Parliament that is taking responsibility of actually oversighting what the executive is doing, and where they did good, you commend them. Where they did bad, you take them back to the drawing board. When it comes to legislature, that is that is also another responsibility, where you legislate laws that you feel they are not draconian. They are not draconian law or laws that will not negatively affect the Gambian people. Is part of my responsibility as a member of Parliament, because any law that is legislated here in this assembly where I voted, it might affect the whole Gambia. This is why after the election you are elected, you are called a National Assembly member, meaning nationally you are representing the whole nation, but actually you are coming from a constituency. So whatever you did, whatever decision you did here in Parliament will reflect when it comes to laws. If they are bad, these laws will reflect on the Gambian population, on which my constituency will not be included. Then we looking what I achieved, what I did for the Nyamina people, we need to put this into context. Then when it comes to representation wise, sometimes you are their voice, you advocate on their behalf, where you feel, because policy implementation is not under my domain. The only thing we can do as members of Parliament is to advocate for development in our areas. When the executive listens to us, put it into program, put it into policies, then those development will go. Alhamdulillah, since I came to Parliament, there is a lot of social activities We have this what we call constituency development funds. All this idea came in the 400 days when I was in the authority. But okay, what do we do? Because sometimes the, the oversight, function, the legislative function, and the representative function does not reflect some social activities. So we developed this what we call constituency development funds, which members of parliament can use at least to make some development that are actually visible at the level of the constituency. So this thing was initiated in 2019, but in 2019 it couldn't be implemented because of the when COVID struck the world. So all issue of budgetary item was diverted to mitigate the issue of COVID. So from after that, I think 2019, 2020, we started implementing it. Now we have access to construct to give borehole to certain communities, not this big borehole, but a community of 10, 15, 20 compounds. We started our CDF with I think 300,000, and that use that 300,000, go to the constituency, see what they need. According you implement it according to their need. I can remember since I started this CDF, we have a lot of some visible social development that is happening in the constituency. I built some borehole in other constituencies. Others also, when they are, for example, if they have a borehole, existing borehole which have a problem, we go there. Recently, I innovated 2 boreholes there. In fact, I am going to the constituency tomorrow also to distribute some constituency development for items like kneading machine for the women, especially coming from Yamina Dankunku. Women sometimes they are in this gardening. They go for gardening. From gardening, they go to the rice field, and if they come back home again, they will be cooking. Taking using this pestle and mortar to pound our foods. Maybe you might know something about it, but I have this idea to make sure that almost now in each community in Mecca, I'm not saying each, but majority of the villages, women can go from one village to another, maybe less than 1 kilometer. You can process your foods there if you want to cook cherry and other things. Meaning, I can say the issue of
according to sources from your constituency, most of the promises you made were not fulfilled. What is your reaction to that?
But when you say most of the promises, what are those promises?
It varies.
Yes, tell me one. Because I know what they are talking about is the issue of road. Because currently, when it comes to electricity, the entire constituency, not yet, the electricity is not yet finished. When the entire constituency is electrified, the poles is everywhere. It's only 6 villages that are left behind. Maybe what they are talking about is the issue of road construction. Road construction is not my responsibility. As I mentioned earlier, that is responsibility of the executive. What I can do is to talk about it. And then if you go to YouTube, you will find it there. So sometimes they don't differentiate the responsibility of a man. I can tell you all the miscellaneous thing I campaign during my campaign that I can do alone. It is only one that is not yet done. Even that one, and recently, maybe on Tuesday, the contractor is delivering the materials there. So maybe those who are talking about it, they might be even sitting here. They never go to the constituency. I wish you go to the constituency, you talk about you ask them, they will tell you. So, but then you cannot list what they say. Those are my promises. Had it been that okay, if they were specific, I could have actually had a voice on it. But I know what they are talking about. The serious challenge today in my constituency is the issue of maybe, not even maybe, that's what they are talking about road connecting from Choya. Choya, do you know Choya? From Choya, right in my constituency, through Nyamina West. That is the only complaint they are having. But that complaint, would you shift it on a National Assembly member, because that road connect two constituencies, Nyamina West and Nyamina Dangu, then to the end in Lower Sala. But you can shift the blame to the member of parliament, but I believe if you understand the responsibility of land, you might not even take that responsibility, you put it on a NAM, either me or anybody. Road construction is not something, even Gambia government themselves, road construction is an headache to them. Knowing, knowing our how to call it, how much we have in our basket. In Gambia government, end of the month, if they collect all their resources that they are supposed to collect within the month, like GRA, because we heavily depend on what GRA collect. If GRA collect, if they collect $2 billion, we take $1 billion, because the last year what we approved to settle our statutory debt, it was 11 billion. This is a debt that we Gambia government must settle to their international partners, that they owe bonds, either locally or internationally. So meaning each month we will spend 1 billion on settling debt. So if DRA collect 2 billion and then settle 1 billion on debt services, the wage bill, that salary, it is statutory. Government cannot go without paying that. Maybe you take 700 million or 800 million, you settle, you pay salary. How much are you, what is your balance? Maybe it's about 300 million. This 300 million is what government use to run some errands. So meaning, if we are to construct road as a government, we can only get it through loan. Without contracting a loan, sometimes we can manage, but it will be in installment form, like the bundle, how to call the bundle, the bundle street construction that was happening in the fourth and fifth legislature. It was about $30-something million, but until today we are paying. Meaning, before you can start an effective project like the bundle project, you must finish settling this installment payment that you are doing. It happened in Yomi Hakalang, and then the Salum Loop, all these ones are locally funded. But until today, every year, because of government do not have the capacity to pay it at once, they are paying it by installment. Meaning, if you start this area, before you can contract another one, you must settle the installment payment that you are doing first. But alhamdulillah, with that issue of road in my constituency, I believe, if there is disappointment, but I have get a concrete assurance that government is coming to build that road, maybe now against 2026. I'm just praying, well, promises are fulfilled. But the government also cannot develop the whole nation at the same time. So this is why you see other areas are benefiting, other areas are not benefiting. But if you feel, you see other areas as an electorate, other areas, people roads are constructed there, maybe you might think that your own MP did not do anything, and then I don't think that might be the case. Any president who came in as a president, your wish is to develop at once. You develop the whole country at once. But it is impossible. This is why Jawara was here for 30 years, Jammeh was here for 21 years. But still now there are some development challenges. Jawara alone, if he came for 30 years, he could have had the bit that he can do it. He can, develop the whole nation within that 30 years. But everything depends on what we have in our basket. If that one is unlimited, then we have to manage it gradually.
Okay, what was your position on the 2020 and 2024 draft constitution?
Maybe you want me to repeat that one, but you knew about it. So thank you so much. It's an important question. In 2020, I rejected. In 2024, I vote in favor.
Why?
Indeed, that's very good. Yes. Okay. Why on what? Why on now I should join the two and answer. Okay. In 2020, we must admit constitution building is very difficult. It's not easy. Because when there is no law that is 100%. It either favors you, it disadvantages you. That's law. Law in general. It doesn't suit anybody, everybody. And then in 2020, when they presented the draft in Parliament, I rejected it with some reason. At that time, being a very strong supporter of until today, people associated on only one issue. That is how they painted all of us. It's because of the retroactive clause. But even where it is that retroactive clause, for me, I believe as a legislator, when I sworn in, Section 100 of the 1997 Constitution is very clear. And then it states the legislative power is rest to the National Assembly and the Executive. But also it limits us to promulgate or to legislate certain laws. It tells you now we cannot legislate a law that will introduce one-party state in the country. We cannot legislate a bill. It is talking about a bill. I will come and then tell you what a bill is. It is telling you we cannot consider a bill that is to introduce one religious in the country. It is telling you we cannot consider a bill that have a retroactive effect on something. Something could be anything. That retroactive effect, meaning you have a right, you acquire a right, and Parliament want to legislate a law that will seize that right. Meaning laws are not retroactive, but proactive. So here at Section 100, it's telling you, you cannot do this. You see, what people fail to understand, and I think everybody in this country, it oversight their mind. There is an existing constitution. It is not a situation where maybe a military take a coup d'etat and abrogate the constitution. This is the difference with when Jammeh came in, when they overthrew the PPP government. The 1970 was abrogated. There was no constitution in existence. Then they promulgated a constitution, that is this 1997 constitution. Everyone is going to have handled. The process of that and the process of what we are trying to do today is different. You know why? Because this constitution, the 1997 constitution, it is in existence. It's just like we want to amend it and bring in something new. And this is why Section 226 is guiding you what to do from the beginning to the ending. So, and then is this constitution that is in existence, when you are deliberating on the new one, is telling you you cannot do that. That is Section 100. But this sets of people, maybe the critic will not want to, maybe the people to know it, or else it is an oversight. A bill, the meaning of a bill, if I should put it in this way, is a combination of laws that are not yet enacted by a parliament. Because the moment they are enacted, it is called an act. So the bill are proposed laws. So if Section 100 is telling you, you cannot consider a bill. Now it is not telling you an act. It is telling you cannot consider a bill that contains this and that and that and that. For me, that alone was enough for me. I'm not a legal luminary, but I rely on that one. And then there are so many clauses. They were so interesting. So interesting, me as a member of parliament. Like clause, maybe you can make a decide on that. I think clause 29, from 27 to 29, you can, if you have it, I might not recall exactly how the text was written, but it is the text is about when somebody have a problem with a management in an institution. If the individual is found wanting, he can be banned to life, not to work. For me, banning any citizen of this country, you want to ban him for life without working. What does that translate? Are you trying to commit murder to that person? You can make a decide on that clause 29. It should be around clause 29 with the, I think, it is the first draft. It's a mini one, not as big. Then the second one, when they bring it, it's the same. It's the same. But I think in that clause, I will check it. I will give you the exact text. The exact text. So for me, when I looked at that one, I said, no. As a legislator, I cannot do this. I cannot legislate a law that will actually, at the end of the day, ban a lot of citizens without working because of they have a conflict with their superior. I said, no, my consent cannot do that. So there are so many reasons, because I rejected it, but I put my agreement, I put everything in place. So in 2024 when it comes, this issue of the retroactive clause was a little bit remedied. And then I think all those arguments, because we rejected it and put in our argument, our reason of rejecting. So when the executive looked at it, those issues that we bring in during that debate, they amended some where they feel, okay, this were the reason. Because actually, if members of parliament rejected a law, you cannot bring it as it is. Meaning that you are still now telling them reject it. You must consider on some of the issues that they were deliberating and outline. Getting out from the getting it from the draft, their argument. You must look at them. So when they bring it in 2014, some of those arguments, I looked at it because they give me the draft, give me an explanatory note. Why they remove it? In the event they did not remove it, they will explain. They have given me a full explanatory note. The reason why they do this and the reason why they do that. And then I feel again, as a legislature, Because in Parliament, the longer you stay here, the more you learn. Because of, we have the legislative power, and then that Section 100, those issues of Section 100 is not there. I feel I learn again. No, you don't throw a bill like that. Since you have the power, the executive can bring even empty papers. I tell you, this is a law. It is you now who have the responsibility and the mandate to put the laws there. Because whatever the executive bring here, if we don't agree with it as legislators, it will not work. So I feel now then, since our responsibility is to legislate, maybe and in legislation in the National Assembly is half a process from second reading, first reading, second reading, third reading, up to the third reading. If you cannot agree, you can reject. Why not we engage the process now, go continue with the process until we finish it at the third reading. If we agree, all of us agree, then we can pass it as a constitution. If we do not agree, then it stops there at the third reading. It can be there. It can be even killed at the third reading. But I feel that we have to follow the process. And this was why I was motivated to support it as a legislature, not only to reject it outright, but to allow it pass the legislative process for first reading, second reading, third reading.
Salah said the same thing. He said National Assembly members are supposed to allow the draft to go to the committee stage. From there, they can see the clauses to remove or debate on it. Yeah. So what is your reaction to that?
In fact, this was what I was explaining. This was why I supported the 2024 draft. I was not looking at it as an executive issue whether it was not consulted. I was looking at the draft as just a draft and putting my position as a legislator who have the mandate to legislate, who have the mandate to remove and put until we have the law in place. And then that was my position. The position of Halifa Sallah was my position. That allowed it go, since we are the legislature, that allowed it to go first reading, second reading, that is committee stage, then to the third reading.
So do you think there is political interference?
Well, where politics is, you cannot say there is no political interference. That the biggest political tool is the Constitution. Constitution is a political tool. So you cannot say there was no politics there. So there is politics. Because here everybody would, as I mentioned, everybody would want to look your interest. So it's a political tool, so there is politics, serious politics. Wherever politician converse, sit down, this house is the biggest political house. Because you know why? It is politicians who are sitting here deciding the fate of Gambia. So there must be politics. There is.
So do you think the 2020 draft could be tabled again?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, I told you constitution building is not easy. In fact, for me, I believe this is the best. You know why? Because anytime you reject, you will learn some positive out of it until you get the required document. It is not easy. There is no way we will table a document that will satisfy every Gambian. No, but at least if we looked at it and we feel it is at least 80 or 90% favor to the Gambian, it will help. And then I believe it will come back again. Since we believe the laws we have, the constitution we have is archaic. It's not moving with current situation, but because laws are like that. As society is changing, laws are the effectiveness of laws are changing. So if you imagine from 1997, we are using, though there are some amendments, but what is the current realities? Does the 1997 Constitution match the current realities? It might, but then again, we need to do some amendment. So bringing in a new constitution is not only to get a third republic, which for me I don't agree with. We don't only bring on constitution just to have third republic. We bring in constitution and put it laws that we feel will suit society.
What is the constitution of NRP as we speak?
Perfect. There is nothing wrong with the NRP because we are existing as a party. Recently, we conducted our national congress. That tells you that the party is in existence, because if you are not in existence, you don't conduct certain laws that you need to meet as a party. There is nothing wrong with the NRP. Yeah, exactly. But I think people should people should be very mindful. NRP, we are a party. We are operating as a party, and we are alliant to a government. And you know, sometimes you have to learn from others' mistake. We have seen what we think as a party, as a party. If you say the on front, and then you are going to have a conduct political rallies. What are the message that you will be sending political? Some other people, when they are in political platforms, they don't measure the word they send. Us, we believe, we put a party, an alliance with a party, we have given them the opportunity. So we believe having too much political activities might jeopardize our relationship. Yeah, because I can take the platform and then say something that might even negatively affect the party, that I say, okay, lead, I follow. It's not because we don't want to have political activities, but we are just a little bit cautious with our relation with the ruling party that we have an alliance with. Election is a very important year for every nation, because it is the year that you decide who should lead you, give you, in some of the words you just asked me earlier on, the economic benefit, give you the security you want, give you the education you want, give you anything you want on the face of this earth. That the year of election, it is in that year you decide who should do all these things for you. Because election is a cycle. That is from presidential election, that is in 2026. Then 2027, you have the parliamentary election. Then I think 1 year later, you have the local council election, or 2 years, something like that. So it's a very important cycle from 2026. The citizens have the right to choose whosoever they want to lead them. But in choosing that one, you must be very, very much careful. Because as I mentioned earlier on, it is the person. That person is your everything. It's the one that is guiding implementing the laws that is making you and me to survive. So when we are going in for election, we must be very careful in our decision making, and also let us not go violence, because election is full of violence. Most of this violence in Africa, if you looked at it, it's the outcome. Most of them is from election. So as Gambia, we are very peaceful. Whatever we are doing, we do it in peaceful way. Even when you are to demonstrate doesn't mean that you will go and vandalize. The law is not telling you that. You just go and then stay somewhere else. You voice your concern to the relevant authorities. I'm not saying that people go and violent, how to call, demonstrate. But in the event you feel you want to, you have a concern, and the only way you can get it is to go out to the people to tell them this is what is happening to me, or this is what is happening to us. And then the government also is very much particular about it. Let's try our violence. Let's go out there, campaign peacefully, listening to political parties, what ideas they will give us to vote them. At the end of the day, if we go vote them, what and what, each political party in this country is having a manifesto, if having an agenda. If I if I'm happen to be the president, this is what is my manifesto is saying. This is what I should do. I think it is high time citizens to be listening to those messages.